Alabama was one of 23 states in the US that saw more people move in than move away in 2021, and we're still seeing people flood in.
So the one thing about moving to Alabama is that it can definitely be an overwhelming experience. While moving in general can be for sure, we would know we've actually moved to Alabama twice in our marriage and 9 times total so far. We're also realtors, so we know that finding that perfect area, that perfect place to live can sometimes be difficult. Alabama is a lot bigger than most people think. So what we want to do is bring up the actual map so we can show you guys all these different areas. So hopefully by the end of the video, you'll get a good visual representation. You'll see how far things are from each other, and you'll know, okay, this area is for me, this area is not, and so on and so forth. And by going through this entire map tour and talking about what you get in these different types of areas, you'll hopefully get a pretty good sense of a good spot for you to start, or an area that we can help narrow down. So we're gonna get started right now.
Okay, I'm gonna go through the map and show you. Now, we've done some other videos where we really talk about these certain areas, but now I'm gonna jump into the map and really showcase this for you. You're gonna be surprised how far things could be sometimes. So moving to Alabama is all about location and lifestyle. What do you like to do? What do you need to be close to? Where are you working? You don't want to live in West Mobile and drive to where I'm at in FAIRHOPE, or to the Eastern Shore for that matter. It's going to take you an hour and a half every single day just to get there, not including the drive back. Alabama is too big and crowded for all that. Let's narrow it on the map and really show you all these different communities, estates, suburbs, you name it. And first thing you can see here, we've got Mobile popping up. It's right here. It's huge. You can't miss it.
Okay, so actually living in downtown Mobile is gonna be easier because it isn't that huge or overwhelming. There aren't big sections like other cities where you're gonna have 40 or 50 large neighborhoods in one city. But there are a bunch of smaller neighborhoods in Mobile with restaurants, bars, galleries, shops, and some really quaint community spaces like Bienville Square, Cathedral Square, and Cooper Riverside Park, just to name a few. And also downtown or East Mobile is gonna be predominantly more expensive just because it's close to all the action.
That said, expensive here is still cheaper than most of the entire country. You'll be looking at condos around the 300,000 range, give or take, for a 2-bed, 2-bath.
Now these really are nice homes, but if you're looking for more of a traditional community, or if you're trying to be next to the mall or airport as opposed to boutiques and shops, then you're gonna wanna check out other areas throughout Mobile that we'll dive into throughout this video.
And speaking of the airport, I love flying out of Mobile or Pensacola because they're so small and easy to navigate. If you like showing up to your flight as late as I do and boarding at the last minute, you're in for a treat because there's never a long line.
Yeah, these airports are great, especially for me because for once in my life, I don't get lost, and Mobile Airport doesn't overwhelm me like JFK or O'Hare does, but you do need a big airport. So New Orleans is only 2.5 hours away from Mobile. Now the home prices here in Alabama are pretty moderate, but differ from depending on what part of Alabama you're trying to be in. If you're looking for walkability and your #1 goal is to be able to either get off of work, get home quick, or walk to work from home, or be able to walk around the corner to locally owned restaurants, shops, bars, coffee shops, or like unique little shops, then West Mobile is not going to be your jam.
No, if you're looking for something like that, then you're going to want to be in downtown Mobile or downtown FAIRHOPE. This is where you're going to have all those different types of shops, restaurants, bars, and just all those different things to do. This is where you can find me. If I need to go out, I mean, I like to hit up downtown Mobile. I like to go to the art walks. We like to go to downtown FAIRHOPE, just walk around, go to different restaurants. I mean, like I said, this is where you're gonna find us on the weekends.
You can find condos and beautiful homes throughout these downtown areas from all price ranges.
Literally from $100,000 for a plot of land to moderate $300,000 to $400,000 homes to $1 million plus.
There really is something for everyone, and you can be within walking distance to your favorite store if that's what you want. So I don't want to spend too much time on walkability here, but there is really so much going on. They're both really great places to live.
Okay, so to keep us on track, let's just start north of Mobile, and then we'll work our way down. Then we'll cross the bay and check out the Eastern Shore. So the farthest north, you know, if we're still considering the Mobile area, is gonna be kind of this SATSUMA, SARALAND area. And this is gonna have bayous and creeks nearby, so it's boatable, fishable. There's a lot of land all around it. If you're looking for a rural community and you wanna be up north, you don't need to be further south like downtown Mobile, like we were just talking about. If you like trees and you like nature and you like acreage, all that stuff, this is gonna be an incredible option for you.
And there are parks, a nice campground right off I-65 called Steel Creek Park Lodge Rental, where you can play frisbee golf, go camping, fishing, and it's just a very nice, clean environment. I mean, who doesn't like parks and nature, walking trails, and fishing holes? Niche.com actually rated SARALAND as #1 best place to live in Mobile County, with Mobile being #2 and SATSUMA coming in at #3.
So one of the most popular reasons why everyone loves SARALAND is because of the schools. Now, with the population of 15,000 people, you do get a spare suburban feel inside of it, but this is very traditional Christian city where everyone knows everyone and you always have people wanting to help within your community. Even though it's not the biggest city or the most extravagant place, SARALAND is an amazing place to live because it's so welcoming and it's just that tight-knit community. Not to mention their kids' sports programs are always stellar. If you want to enjoy some good Southern Alabama football, then this is definitely a contender.
Okay, so now that we're going south, let's talk about one of the 7 different historic districts, OAKLEIGH District, and I like mentioning this community here because it's more of a residential area where they host community gatherings like meet your neighbors, and the properties there are just a little bit more homey. Not to mention the OAKLEIGH Garden Historic District is one of the largest and most well-known in Mobile. One of my favorite things to do here is go to Washington Square Park, which is about the size of a small block. It's surrounded by these amazing historic homes, and the park itself is almost completely shaded with stately live oaks and a few sweet smelling southern magnolias. Ooh, that was a tongue twister. One mighty oak branch stretches across the entire sidewalk so low that your kid can walk under it. It's definitely something that's a staple in that park. And there's a gorgeous fountain right in the center of the park, embellished with lush landscaping statues, and iron deer stands guard that fountain, which is really cool if you ask me.
It is a very beautiful and tranquil park because it's full of azaleas, oak trees, and elephant ear plants, but one thing I don't like is there aren't any bathrooms or benches or even a playground for that matter. I'm like one of the kids when I see a play set, I want to go play, and when I gotta go, I gotta go.
Okay, well, nobody really wants to hear that, Tony, but that is true.
I'm trying to keep it real for our clients moving here. Back to keeping it real with Tony, you're gonna find some other cool spots nearby like the Hummingbird Way Oyster Bar and CALLAGHAN'S Irish Social Club, and just like the area itself, these are gonna be little old places in the neighborhood that just have a lot of character.
Or if you're a mom on the run, they have places like Taco Bell or Wendy's too. Speaking of mom on the go, another cool spot nearby is HANNON Park. I know how important it is to be near a hospital, and there are a few close by. Walgreens and other grocery stores are conveniently close by, along with the Starbucks, so definitely a really great spot.
Whoa, if you mention Starbucks, you have to mention my spot.
What's your spot?
Soul Caffeine. I just made you a cup of it this morning.
That's true.
Grounded it myself.
Okay, so Soul Caffeine is really good, but anyways, here you'll find houses range from the low 200s all the way up to $500,000 range, depending on what you're trying to get. But this is an area that's pretty affordable and close to everything without having to get deep into Mobile.
Okay, that said, the next spot I have in mind is a little deeper into Mobile and a little more expensive, with homes averaging around $700,000. It does have a Walgreens nearby, but my favorite part of the area is the golf course. I'm talking about the Country Club of Mobile.
Houses average around $700,000, but I have seen some steals in there for around $400,000 or $500,000. So it really depends on what you're looking for, and if you can remodel as you go along, then that could be a great option for you, especially if you're like Tony and you want to be on that golf course.
That's just one perk. It's close to Spring Hill Hospital too, with tons of shopping, restaurants, and yes, there's another golf course just across the road.
I knew it. That's Spring Hill Golf Course. I knew he was gonna mention that. Don't let him fool you. He was just there last weekend, but that's okay because while he was out golfing, I actually was in another area that I want to tell you guys about, and that's College Park. And this has been a popular area for a lot of people moving here. Being that it's so close to I-65, we have a lot of clients who like the area because of the close proximity to everything and the schools as well. We hear nothing but good things about St. Paul's, which is a K-12 school with really great reviews.
Yeah, it better be for the $12,000 per year that they asked for. I'd rather make payments on a boat than to the kids' K school.
Can you all believe him? I mean, 12K is steep, but if you can afford it, why not?
Because I would rather get a boat. Drop down in the comments below if you're with me or against me here. But next, let's talk about Park Hill, which is just a stone throw away. And we actually just helped a Coast Guard family move here, and I'll tell you why. They were only 15 minutes from base, which is also next to Mobile Airport.
Technically, the Coast Guard runway is attached to Mobile Airport.
There you go, fun fact. They also like to be outdoors, and Park Hill has tennis courts, a disc golf course, and can you guess what I'm about to say next? Yep, you guessed it, another golf course.
Yeah, they also have playgrounds, botanical gardens, museum of art, and probably the biggest park you'll find in Mobile with walking trails, and both are paved and dirt, so make sure you watch out for snakes. My dogs get more freaked out by them than I do, but that's because I'm always hightailing it in the opposite direction when I see one.
It's also next to the University of South Alabama, which is a cool perk if you're just going to school or furthering your education.
It's a really beautiful campus. I personally loved going there back in the day, but I don't miss those long days and nights of going through it.
Me neither. Now, if you go west of there, you'll see a lot more green on that map, and that's because you've entered what we call West Mobile.
So if you're looking for a more simpler way of life, then West Mobile is definitely a place for you to consider. West Mobile is full of county roads filled with fields of grass, land, lakes, farm life, and nurseries. It's definitely a friendly, neighborly atmosphere, but West Mobile is going to be a little bit more of a rural community to settle down in.
A lot more. But if you like that country living, then this is going to be the place to be. There's a lot of hunting and fishing and loving every day going on here.
Okay, Luke, so yeah, if you want to see them tall pines sway, then this is going to be it. But prices range here. You can find affordable housing, but you can also find some really expensive properties because of the acreage, pole barns, access to lakes and creeks, and so on and so forth. So it all really depends on what you're looking for, and don't get me wrong, there are tons of subdivisions here as well, but it's still a little further out.
Okay, now that we've made it to West Mobile, let's show you what it takes to get to Dauphin Island. Now, if you want to find a little slice of heaven, this is going to be your place. It's an intimate setting on a small peninsula with homes averaging around 600,000, but don't be sticker shocked when you see a price even higher than that, because people will pay that for this, beautiful setting overlooking the Gulf Coast of Mexico. Not to mention the fresh caught seafood here is like you've never experienced it before. I've been to the coast of Atlantic and the Pacific, and nothing compares. I'll bet you big money on that.
All right, calm down. You're not betting our future clients. What Tony means to say is the food here is hands down the best, not only because it's caught here, but because the locals who prepare it and sell it are some of the best people you'll ever meet, and they put their hearts and souls into providing unforgettable service. Now let's show you the drive back up to Mobile, where we started, and then let's shoot over the Bayway into the Eastern Shore and Baldwin County, which features no single large metro, but instead a proliferation of smaller cities and the residential surrounds.
The northern half of the county has remained quiet and largely rural, but the southern half is exploding. From Spanish Fort to Daphne and Fairhope, across to Loxley and Robertsdale and Foley, and all the way down to Gulf Shores and Orange Beach.
The proximity to Mobile is obviously a bonus for the Eastern Shore. People are coming to Baldwin County because it is affordable and offers all the benefits without high crime rates and great choices in real estate. And there's ongoing construction of new subdivisions on the Eastern Shore, namely in and around Spanish Fort, Fairhope, and Daphne.
Starting on the north end of the Eastern Shore, let's talk about Spanish Fort. Located about 45 minutes from both Gulf Shores Beach and Dauphin Island Beach. Now that's without summer traffic. Here you got this very family-friendly place to live. It comes with many restaurants, parks, and shopping, but not very much to do in terms of nightlife, which to some is great. The most exciting nightlife is probably going to be going to the bowling alley, and I think I'm starting to show my age, but who doesn't like to bowl, right?
I look at it as a good thing. Spanish Fort has a low crime rate and feels really safe. They also have highly rated schools. Houses are spread apart and on lots with mature trees and land. So overall, this is definitely a great spot for you to live if you want quiet and beautiful greenery all around you.
Yes, and Spanish Fort is home to Blakely State Park. So if you're an outdoor enthusiast who enjoys the things like hiking and mountain biking and boating or fishing, this could be the perfect town for you. When it comes to home prices, you can expect to find houses going from the mid-4s all the way to the 700s. Now, let's go a little more south right on Mobile Bay, just like Spanish Fort, and conveniently located right off of I-10 highway is
Daphne.
It has beautiful views of the bay and delicious seafood. The community always has events going on like fall festivals, races, and parades. The town is small, but it is a fast-growing area.
Yeah, I love how Daphne has all the necessities we need, like restaurants, and it has an endless amount of stores, from groceries to shopping malls and specialty shops. Even though Daphne is kind of a small city, it also has many schools that are private and public. It's a quiet and calm place to live, so I rarely ever hear complaints about this city. The best part about Daphne is the housing diversity. There's so many options for everyone. Affordability here is very high. You'll have no problem finding houses that are moderately priced if that's what your goal is. There are amazing homes available in the mid 2s and 3s. And of all the schools, on the Eastern Shore, Daphne ranks the highest.
There are a lot of options here, but my favorites are Old Town Daphne and the Woodlands at Melbus. And I really like Jubilee Farms. It has this awesome resort style slide right in the middle of their subdivision. But if I started naming everything, we'll be here all day. Okay, now let's make our way down right underneath Daphne and still on Mobile Bay. You'll find another amazing coastal community, FAIRHOPE. It's a warm and welcoming place to live. We have lived in about 7 different places all over the years because of the military, and this is by far what we consider to be our forever home. It's small enough that you know people when you go out, but big enough to have breathing space. It has great schools, public and private. We feel safe with our children playing outside alone, or when we go to the local beautiful parks. It's just a beautiful area with plenty of restaurants and great schools that are safe and just close drives to the beach. Who can't beat that?
And it's super close to Mobile, yet it's its own separate town. It's actually an amazing little coastal town in South Alabama. Like Tony said, wonderful schools, friendly people, and just a beautiful place to live overall. Downtown is well kept and always has seasonal flowers on almost every single corner. There are sidewalks throughout most of the town, which makes it super walkable. Although FAIRHOPE is one of the fastest growing places in the South, it still has that small town feeling.
FAIRHOPE is also located next to the historic Grand Hotel and Lakewood Golf Club in Point Clear. This resort is a major tourist destination and a popular spot for anniversaries, evenings out, and weddings. It's a staple on the Eastern Shore, but if you're like me, then Lakewood Golf Course may not be the place for you to golf. I'm what you call very amateur, and I much rather golf at Rock Creek or Quail Creek in FAIRHOPE, and they're cheaper, which is nice. And if you're looking for somewhere to live, they also have nice homes surrounding all these golf courses too.
And speaking of notable places to live in FAIRHOPE, there's downtown FAIRHOPE, or one of my favorites is the Fruit and Nut District, or the BLUFFS, where you can expect homes priced at around $500,000 to over $1 million. Outside of downtown, you'll find plenty of subdivisions with homes new and old, ranging from the mid-4s to the high 8s. Compared to other towns on the Eastern Shore, FAIRHOPE is going to be the one that's higher in price point when it comes to real estate.
All right, let's keep it moving and go on down to Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Located right on the Gulf of Mexico, about an hour drive from Mobile with no traffic, you'll find these 2 gems. Living in either towns, you'll be living your best beach life.
Both of these Alabama coastal cities have beautiful waterfronts, including publicly available beaches, and the beach quality is the same on both sides. Both have super fresh seafood like royal red shrimp, flounder, snapper, mahi-mahi, oysters, crawfish, grouper, and so much more.
Like Jess said, the beach quality in both communities is impeccable with clean, wide stretches of sand with inviting warm water. The main difference between Orange Beach and Gulf Shores that we found is that Orange Beach feels a little quieter and less hectic, or to put it another way, Gulf Shores feels like it has a little more going on.
Yeah, if you're looking for a relaxed escape with lazy days by the sea, or if you're good at making your own fun, then Orange Beach might be the better choice.
And if you're looking for planned activities and events, Gulf Shores has more going on, from mini golf to theme nights at the bars and restaurants to scheduled events.
When it comes to the schools, they rank high, and both as of recent have branched off from Baldwin County public schools and have become their own city schools, and they're absolutely amazing. The towns are putting so much effort and funds into making their schools the absolute best for the communities. It's a really, really exciting time to live in Gulf Shores or Orange Beach.
Real estate in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach are surprisingly affordable unless you're looking at oceanfront property. Then you're looking at $1 million and up. But if you want residential housing close to the beach or in a subdivision, you can definitely find affordable homes in the mid-4s to 6s. But if you need a little more land, you can head just north of there up to Foley, and you can see there is a lot of green surrounding Foley and its neighboring cities like Summerdale, back up to Loxley, which isn't far from where we started on this side of the bay. That's because this is all wide open still. There are little pockets of gray where you can find restaurants or grocery stores, and down these roads is where you'll find a lot of the fresh farm stands.
Yeah, if y'all haven't tried fresh boiled peanuts, then you're in for a real treat. I'm telling you, move here while you can. Not just for the peanuts, obviously, but if you do decide to make a move, make sure you call us so we can help you make it happen before you lose your opportunity. It literally blows me away how affordable this beautiful coastal area is. More and more people are discovering these perfect cities, and prices are creeping up. Personally, I want to move to Gulf Shores so bad, but I can't. Not yet, at least.
All right. I need to bring my wife back to reality. We just moved to FAIRHOPE a few months ago from Daphne, and a few years ago we were in Mobile. We won't be due for another move for at least another 3 years with our track record. But she ain't lying. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach are where it's at. It's not just a vacation spot. This is a place to live full-time, whether you're single, retired, or have kids. As they say, it's a small town, big beach.
We hope you have a better understanding on why everyone is moving here to Alabama. And remember, we're licensed realtors right here in town. So until next time, we'll see y'all later.
See you guys.